Hello everybody, I am Nilwan Kavind. This is Database Analysis and Designing Assignment 1 oral presentation. Now I am going to talk about the content going to be covered in this presentation. Introduction. From the introduction, I will give you a little explain about SQL. Requirement 1. Describing the ERD. Requirement 2. Create table statement. Requirement 3. Insert statement. And requirement 4. Drop table statement. Finally, the conclusion of the whole presentation. The introduction. SQL is standard for structured code language. It is means used to manage and organize data and system with data relationships and queries, sort and filter the information that you get output with relevant information that you need from the massive amount of information. Requirement 1. Now I am going to describe about the entity relationship diagram. This is the diagram that we use on our assignment 1. There are three entities called book, allocation and author. So you can see the allocation symbol is little bit of different from the book and the author because the allocation is a weak entity. Its mean allocation table cannot be uniquely identified by its attributes alone. So we can read this ERD. One book may have many allocations and one allocation must have one book. And besides, one allocation must have one author. One author may have many allocations. Requirement 2. Now I am going to explain about the create table statement. This is the syntax that can be used to create the table. Those uppercase words are the keyword when you create the table. First, the name of the table, then the column names and the data types, the length of those. After that, you should show the primary key of the table like primary key and the column name. After that, you should show the foreign key, the column name and the reference of the foreign key. This is how we create our book table in assignment 1. First of all, we use drop table book to remove if there is any existing table. After that, we create table book, then column names, book ID, title, selling price, the data types, and we use not null keyword to be book ID and title, and we use book ID as primary key. After that, we use check constraint to selling price greater than 0. This is how we create author table in our assignment 1. It has column name like author ID, F name, and S name, and the data types. After that, we use not null keyword in author ID. Then we use author ID as primary key, and we use unique constraint to fname and sname. This is how we create weak entity allocation. It has book ID, author ID, pair rate as column names, and data types. We use not null keyword as book ID and author ID. After that, we use primary key as book ID and author ID. Then foreign key as book ID references book and author ID references author. Finally, we use constraint, check constraints as pair rate between 1 and 79.99. Requirement 3. Now I am going to explain about the insert statement. This is the syntax that can be used to insert data into the table. Insert into the table name and column names. After the values, we can use an example. Insert into the table lecture as the column names, lecture ID, lecture name, and age as value 207, John Smith, and 37. If a volume is unknown, then use the null keyword. This is how we insert into our book table in our assignment 1. We use book ID, title and the selling price as the columns. Requirement 4. Now I am going to explain about the drop table constraint. This is the syntax that can be used to drop a table. Keyword, fixed keyword, name of the table which is to be deleted. Every SQL command ends with the semicolon. If you want to delete the table, before the delete, select all tables which is to be deleted because there is no undo or option. This is how we use drop table to our assignment 1. We use drop table to author, book and allocation table first of all because remove if there is any existing table. The conclusion. This presentation is based on the assignment 1 we completed and we use W3 School for more information. Now I am going to wind up my presentation. If you have any doubt, please inform me below the comment. Thank you for the watching.